Are there any risks on account of continuous use?
So the short answer to this is that we're not aware of any risks for using it over a long period of time compared to just using it. So there are the known side effects, but there have been a series of very good randomized controlled trials called the SURMOUNT trials that have looked at people who have had this medication over a period of time up to 88 weeks. So that's a year plus, I think, 36 weeks. Yeah. So there were no additional things found in that period compared to the risks, that the side effects that were already known. So from what we can tell from the evidence that is available today, while you're on it, you've got the risk of side effects. When you come off it, whether you've been on it for a week, 4 weeks, or 88 weeks, there is no difference in the risks. We need to also bear in mind that when we're talking about any form of risk, we need to compare the take to do nothing scenario. And the do nothing scenario, if you've, say, got quite a high body mass index, if you're in the obesity category, there are lots of well-established known healthcare risks of being obese. So the reason I'm saying this is because this is a relatively new drug. And with any relatively new drug, if there is a possibility that some hitherto unrecognized long-term issues might come out because more patients have been taking it, and we might start to see, especially rarer things. So there's by no means a guarantee that there will never be something that we discover that demonstrates taking it long-term is a problem. There can always be that, and that's the case with any new and relatively new treatment. However, you've got to view that in context. So far, all the data shows that people that have been on this trial that taking it for 88 weeks doesn't seem to confer any additional risk to just taking it for a shorter period. And if it's helping you crack something like obesity, you're probably saving yourself quite a lot of risk of additional complications of obesity by being on the treatment. It's the kind of weighing up argument that is a case-by-case basis thing. So yeah, short answer is we're not aware of any. There may be some that emerge in the future.
This is actually a really important question, and it's one that I possibly come across on a daily basis with our patients. They do worry about what will happen after they reach that specific 2-year period. So this is, I suppose, would be reassuring to them to say, look, this is what the data is showing us. It would be a case-by-case basis when you do reach that kind of milestone of 2 years.
Yes. So, I mean, there's a bigger question about how long can you continue things for. We only have data up to 88 weeks, and we have data for other medications that are similar. There's a medication called semaglutide that's a GLP-1 agonist. That has been established to be safe and effective up to 2 years. And putting that all together, that's where the 2 years treatment course comes from. We haven't seen long-term use problems with semaglutide. We believe, based upon a trial of lasting almost 2 years or 88 weeks, the best part of 2 years, on Mounjaro, plus a similar drug where people have been on it for long periods of time, that Mounjaro is going to appear to be the same, but we're not certain.
What are your thoughts around maintenance dose? So should the patient be on a specific dosage, or do they need to reach the highest possible dose of 15 milligram and then just stay on that for the time limits of 88 weeks? How would they manage this?
It's a good question because, again, we are limited by the evidence that is there. From what we've seen in the trials, the higher dose, the more effective, the more likely you are to A, lose weight, and B, keep it off. So the advice based upon data from the trial and based upon data from a similar drug, semaglutide, is that you should be aiming for the full dose, for the highest dose. However, once again, this is a balance of risks and benefits. If a patient is starting to get side effects that are becoming bothersome, especially side effects that might put at jeopardy their ability to continue the treatments, it's perfectly reasonable to say, I would rather stay on a lower dose so I know I can comfortably stay on it and achieve weight loss than shooting for the highest dose. So the default position for anybody is who's a candidate for Mounjaro is you start at the lowest dose, You take it for 4 weeks, you then go up by 2.5 milligrams, you take it for 4 weeks, up by 2.5 milligrams. You keep doing that until you reach the full dose of 15 milligrams, or you reach a dose where you are starting to get bothered by side effects to the point where they might affect your ability to continue. And then you stay on that.
Yeah.
And you stay on that until so that you can achieve weight loss and so that you can adopt healthy eating habits so that they become well ingrained into your lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's the benefit of continuing on this for a period of time. And as I say, we know that it's more effective with higher doses, but there's no point in being upon something that you're not going to be comfortable or capable of taking long term.
At what point would you suggest that the patients need to stop using Mounjaro?
So you're balancing two forces here. You're balancing the risk of, if you come off it, you're going to no longer have an appetite suppressant on board. So you are now going to be depending on the habits that you've built up while you are on the treatment, the healthier eating, better exercise to sustain your lower weight. Mm-hmm. That takes time. And so you need to have been on it a sufficient length of time for those habits to be ingrained. So for that reason, we like people just to continually stay on it rather than just to target a particular BMI.